Right on. So hi, I'm Nick Warder. I'm the Business Solutions Manager in the IT department at the City of Victoria. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about our parking alert app that we created and the technology behind that. We've got sort of some interesting business rules and some good opportunities in Victoria that we were excited to deliver solutions to this year. Before I do that, I just want to acknowledge that the City of Victoria, where we work, where we developed the solution, where we use it, is on the homelands of the Songhees and the Esquimalt people, and we're privileged to work and live there. A little bit about Victoria. So our municipal overview, we're in the southwest corner of British Columbia. We're the capital of British Columbia. Been around for a bit, incorporated in 1862, and we have a population, which you'll see in that lower left map, of approximately 94,000, but a much larger regional population. So we're over 400,000, as many of you know, as a region, and a lot of those people come into our city to work, to play, to visit. So we have a lot of traffic and a lot of people who are looking to park as a result, more so than you might think for the size of our city. Add to that as well that we're a pretty awesome climate, great place to visit, so a lot of people have figured that out, and we've got about 4 million visitors a year that come to the city. Some come by air, a lot come by ferries, up and down the island, so there are a lot of people coming to the City of Victoria. It's a great place to come. You should come. Within our city, we've got 279 kilometers of roads that we maintain, that we enforce and make sure everybody can access, and that is spread out through approximately 2,000 on-street individual parking spaces, as well as limited time zones like your 1 hour in this area, that kind of thing. So a lot of area to cover for a city of our size, a lot of parking to try and keep moving, and yeah, so that's what we are dealing with as a city. So just before I get a little bit into the opportunity, the challenge, I'll show you our current business process, or our previous business process for ensuring that parking is in compliance, and that's chalking tires. I think most people are familiar with that. So that's my tire. I took my kids' play chalk and drew a line on there, and what we have been doing is we'll do that at the start. We'll come back after the time is expired, and if the chalk is still there and you're in the same spot, generally we're going to enforce that and issue a ticket. Our parking team are great. They're always thinking of ways to move forward, and came to us with a challenge. They were looking for ways to make things more efficient so they could capture things faster and not have to necessarily have individuals traveling through those 279 kilometers of roads on foot or on scooter that we've had. So they wanted to be able to do that so that more people, again, had access to our city. And they wanted to get some more analytics on hotspots, which you really can't get with chalk. So they had a sense of this is an area where there seems to be a lot of challenges of parking from their experience, but they didn't have data and ways to look at that and visualize it and make potentially different decisions about what kind of parking we have in what parts of the city. So that was sort of the efficiency opportunity they presented to us, and the safety challenge as well. So with a lot of chalking, you can imagine if you're doing that for hundreds of vehicles per day, that creates a risk of repetitive strain injuries. I think we've had some concerns around that, and we don't want anybody having any sort of injury at the city. We take our safety quite seriously. And then as well, I mean, we're a milder climate, but we do have adverse weather conditions. So if we're going out in the rain, it rains a little bit in Victoria, or if it's the winter and maybe not snow, but pretty close, it can get pretty icy. And so if people are walking around, or again on the scooters, slips, trips, and falls are a real concern for us. So we were looking for as well ways to reduce motion, reduce the need to go out in an adverse weather condition unless there was a need to do something like enforce. So what do we do? Enhance by build is how we work. So if we have something to enhance, we can. We didn't find a good way to enhance the chalk. We thought about different colors, but pretty much chalk is chalk. So we went down the build path instead, or the buy path instead, to see what we could get that would meet our needs, and if that didn't meet all of our needs, we would build what we needed to kind of provide a full solution. So we went to RFP. We had a couple of EVs that we were able to outfit with cameras. We got responses back from different vendors that had good solutions that'll take a picture of a car and then come back later and take it again, and they can tell really well if that car had moved off the block or not and recommend enforcement. We knew there was really good proven camera capture technology. We know some other cities are using solutions like this. But the part that was missing for us is that customer service is really important to us, and we wanted to make sure that we had opportunities to engage proactively with the public. So we didn't want to automatically send you a ticket in the mail 3 weeks later and you never know what happened and didn't have a chance to talk, or maybe you needed some help, or maybe there was an accessibility challenge. We wanted to have a solution where our parking ambassadors could go to the site in the case of a notification and talk to that person if they're there, assess the situation, maybe issue a ticket, maybe not, but have some discretion depending on what's going on. So that part was missing in the responses that we got. We asked about it, but we didn't hear that in what we could get. But we did put in API requirements in our RFP to make sure that there was a way for us to get the data out, because we did recognize that's a bit of a unique setup that we have. And we knew that way, if it wasn't out there in the market, we could go build it. That's what I'm going to show you here. So the tech to overcome the challenge, what you'll see on the left here, this is what we've ended up building. Our parking ambassadors already had rugged devices, mobile devices, so we knew we could build something that would work on their phones and that would get that data through the secure APIs from the vendor and represent it in a way that made sense to us. So that was all great. We already had the hardware, we already had the API, and we have done a little bit of work with Microsoft as well. So we're well tooled in the Microsoft stack. Modern coding language is supported by Microsoft as well. So Azure Maps is what we use to represent the city. We use an Azure Cosmos database to store the information while we are getting things sorted and making decisions on if that's going to be a ticket or not. For some of our more complex business rules and functions, we use C#. And then my personal favorite thing that I didn't know was a thing till this year is the Azure Web Pub Sub. So what that's allowed us to do is not create a situation where ambassadors have to keep refreshing their phone to check for a new violation or anything like that. It just pops up on everybody's phone right away as soon as it happens. And equally, which I'll show you a little bit in the demo, if somebody enforces or ignores a ticket, it automatically takes it away from everyone. So we don't have situations where 5 people are going to the same car. Pretty cool. Didn't know we could do that. And then some JavaScript as well for UI. So that's the tech stack that we used. I'll show you a little bit of a demo. I was thinking in the session this morning of Jazz, one thing I did want to talk about briefly was Agile and demos. I think a key success factor for us in this project was working in sprints every 2 weeks. And it's the first project where we really enforced a demo every 2 weeks in our sprint with the business. That was a really great way to get quick feedback on this app, really understand what they needed, show them what it was looking like, understand, no, that's not quite right, and make changes. I think that allowed us to deliver just enough, not more than we had to, so this hasn't been a 1.5-year project, it's been a few sprints and we've already got something working. And been really proud of the team for being able to have that continuous feedback and continuous adjustment and quick delivery. So I'm going to go over to the demo here, which I'm doing by a few screenshots because I need to remove license plates and all that for you here. But this is a more expanded view of the map. We've also got on the right a list of the locations. If this is on their phone, it sorts automatically by the GPS location. So it's telling the ambassador, here's the ones that are nearest to you. And you can select which ones you'd like to go and review. You can click 6 things and go check them off. And as you move around, the list will automatically, again, no refreshing, update and tell you that now you're closer to these ones. Maybe, again, for reducing motion, that's where you want to go. As they zoom into each of those bubbles, and those bubbles are groups of cars that we think are in violation, and this wasn't all at one instant. This was us stress testing with a day's worth of data, so there's not that many people that should be getting tickets in Victoria right now. But as they zoom in a little bit, they'll start to see on the map, and for context here, this is just outside of our downtown. This is where our old fire hall is. There's a middle school here, there's a high school just a block or 2 away, and a lot of multi-family dwellings. So it is an area where there is a lot of turnover of vehicles, and we need that turnover so that everybody can have access. So as they zoom in, those bubbles start to disappear. They start to turn into actual cars that are GPS positioned onto the map. So the ambassador also knows, again, not to just look up and down the 600 block, but it's right there. It's on the left side. It's in front of that building, and they can go straight to it. If they're then going to review that one of those vehicles a little closer, they'll just touch it, click on it. It'll pop up with actual images that were captured. We pull this again through the API and convert it so that we can display it here so that they can see the actual license plate. If they click these, which I won't here, it'll show a full screen image so they can be sure of the actual license plate and the positioning of the vehicle and all that kind of stuff. And this is where they can make the decision. So if it is time to issue a ticket, they'll continue to do that with their current business process. They'll hit that ticket issued button, disappears for everybody. We log that that was issued at that time for our records, and that one's done. The alternative is they could ignore the violation. We've got a few reasons. I can show you that too. But the principle is the same. They'll push that. They'll select the reason for the ignore. And then once that's done, it will remove it from everybody as well. So yeah, just going over to there. So it could be that the vehicle is no longer on the block. Maybe it was a duplicate. If the car was driving up and down multiple times, it could have caught it more than once. Again, we don't want a ticket in error, so we don't want a scenario where you're getting 2 tickets when you should have got 1 or 0. And that's great for our analytics. So we're going to now start to use this data to understand why are we not ticketing, and are there things that we need to change. So getting a lot more analytics and intel out of this. That's most of what I wanted to show. Want to just say again, I'm really proud of the team for delivering this. Just thinking about 2023, we've gone from chalk essentially to this, and it's just a huge improvement, and I'm really proud that IT could deliver this for parking. I'm excited to see where we take it. For sure. Any questions?
Yeah. Any chalk vendors in the room? Business is going down. Okay, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.